DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool. Tonight's DJNTV show is sponsored in part by Electro Voice, DJ Event Planner, ADJ, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, Newmark, and DJNTV Insiders.
Everything's good. We're here.
Yeah.
You know, wait a second. We forgot to play the intro. Now we got to go back and play the intro. Then we'll come back. Okay. It's time for Tuesday Night Live Chat with Brian S. Red and John Young. Okay, now we can start because Jimmy's intro played. Because, you know, if we wouldn't play Jimmy's intro after...
We'd heard about it, yeah.
You guys are whining about my intro not being...
Why don't you play my intro?
Man. So good evening and welcome to DJNTV tonight. We are just kind of hanging out here on Tuesday night. I'm John Young. This is Brian S. Red. You might recognize him from the cover of every YouTube video you've ever wanted to watch. That's the man.
You've got a lot of them.
That's the man.
So speaking of YouTube videos, I want to pull the link up on YouTube here.
Yep, we'll get those up. And we're going to be kind of talking about, we've got a couple of topics we're going to hit here in the first part of the show, and then the last part will be kind of more of an open mic type of a show where we'll talk about, answer questions, and take it from there. So if you have any questions or any thoughts or things you want to discuss, we'll hit those in the last part of the show. Holy cats.
In my defense here, I'm a little unorganized because John took it upon himself to tell me today that he's going to press now. Yeah. And I have to write my article now, and I was busy today.
You had 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
10 minutes to write the article.
Yeah.
Your magic.
Just crank it out, dude.
Magic.
I'm not a machine.
Don't.
Blanca, you know, I'm not a machine.
Don't rush me.
But no, I was working on that. I was getting ready to wrap it. Did like a marathon hour and a half writing session.
There we go.
Only to look at the clock and say, oh, it's 8:57. I suppose I should plug my mic in and log on to Zoom.
And get going. Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about looking into the future of the DJ. And what kind of brought this up is Jonathan Lewis, DJ tutor there from the UK, had posted something about the concept he was after was that controllers in the future, in a not too distant future, are going to be laptop-less. And there became this whole discussion about, his very first statement, he ended up going back and kind of adding more to it so it kind of explain more. But it really became a discussion on some DJs basically getting to the, oh my God, the industry went to hell when the controllers came out. DJs started using controllers. And then it was, there was this, that, and the other thing. And the part that I really wanted to kind of hit on, Brian, is that it astounds me the number of DJs who are so fixated with whatever it is in their world. Whether it's they love turntables and it's that. They love this and they're so fixated in one thing that the world is going to pass them by. And I think that's one of the reasons why Jonathan likes to throw these things out there is because he wants to basically have these people who are going to get passed by or that are going to argue for obsolete things pitted against those who are seeing that, hey, you know what, this is a tool, and I'm going to use this tool as best I can.
In the comment section of that post that Jonathan wrote, the only thing that I wrote down was, it's funny when you just say stuff. Because that's what he does. He just says stuff, and he gets a reaction. I mean, okay, first of all, I don't know if this is the way things are going to go. I mean, and who's to know this? We don't know where things are going to go. I mean, and it's strange that the notion of a laptop-less controller would come out. I mean, they're out. They've been out for a long time, by the way. I mean, this is not a new thing. I've had American Audio pieces that have done this for 10 years.
Oh, yeah. I talked to some people who had Denon that had a built-in hard drive. I think Gemini had a built-in hard drive.
Yeah, this is nothing new. I mean, perhaps the interfaces are that may be coming around the corner are new, but the concept of an MP3 player with no disc, with no CD, and no laptop, this is not a new phenomenon. Not at all. Do I think the trend's going to go there? Not right now. And the reason I don't think it's going to is because we have things like, what is it, Sound Switch?
That's one of them.
And record box lighting. This all is computer-based. So with all of these new things happening, why on earth would anybody go without a laptop? I don't get it. I mean, I don't see it going there. Personally, I don't see it going there. Could it? Sure.
Oh, certainly.
Geez, we've done it. We've gigged without laptops, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, it's what we did for the first half of our careers.
Well, even today, there are times where we're going out with a, I've done things where it's just been an iPad. So, technically, I suppose that could be considered at the same level as a tablet or as a laptop. But, I mean, there are ways around it. And that's... the idea that there's a thumb drive, and club DJs today that basically they come in and they've got their music on the thumb drive, they plug it in, and they have their screens that they can manipulate those 10 to 15 tracks because they've got a set playlist of what they're going to do.
There was a piece, I think it was called an SDJ1, that American Audio came out with that I really liked. It was really cool, and you could put 2 SD cards in there. And I think at the time you could do like 32 gigabyte cards. So that was 64 gigabytes of music that you could have right in front of you. And you could put them in folders and you could recall them and mix them just like, well, at the time, like a CD would be, like a controller. Pitch control, little jog wheel on it, fast forward, pause, track forward, track backward, key lock. This is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm confused. What is he talking about? Oh, what's the breakthrough? We've had turntables for a long time. There was no laptop involved with that.
Yeah.
Do I see a trend going towards no laptop? No.
Not so
now.
much. And I think Paul mentions this in the chat room where he's talking about the searchability, especially as a mobile DJ and taking requests, the ability to search. Because we're going into proms this weekend, and we have our playlist of songs that we think are going to be some that we will choose from. But I bet of that 200 songs in that playlist or in that folder, we're going to probably be pulling at least 25, maybe 25 to 30 from the hard drive, as we're looking for songs that are requested. So it's...
Yeah, that's what I struggle with. I mean, back in the days of these, all right, and John, you will remember this, and we've talked about this in great depth before, but we had what we had.
Yeah.
And the audience dealt with it. So if someone came up and said to us, hey, do you have any Led Zeppelin? We'd say, no, but we have some AC/DC. Do you like that? Oh, yeah, that's rock and roll. Play that. You couldn't get away with that today.
Oh, for sure.
You either have it or you don't. And if you don't, you're a jerk. So when I do events, I never know where we're going to go. I kind of have an idea, but I don't know the 60, 70 songs I'm going to play that night. I have no idea. And if I'm really lucky, I get to play all this weird stuff that I didn't even think I was going to play. Stuff I haven't played for 10 years. And you don't carry that with you on a flash drive. Don't have that kind of capacity on not the in-depth library that I have anyway. I can't do that. I've got giant hard drives full of stuff.
Yeah.
And okay, fine. I'm going to say it. 3/4 of that hard drive, I will never play. I don't even know. It's doubles. It's stupid. And I know that. And I'm aware of that. But the quarter that's there is solid. and I will dip from it, and it's viable and it's possible. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know if it's a regional thing or what, but where I live, I never know what I'm going to play from gig to gig.
You're right. Yeah.
I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. So that searchability is going to be a big thing. Huge thing.
Not only that, but there's a version of a song I want. It's not maybe the version that is the popular version that was on the album or played on the radio, but there's a version I want. The one that comes to mind is, just off the top of my head, something that everybody knows and has played at one time or another, is AC/DC, You Shook Me All Night Long. Now, there's the album version of that track and the popular version of that track that starts with the Angus Young guitar.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a version I play that starts on the one, bum, tss, bum, tss, and I have that version. And it's quantized, so it's on the beat.
Sure.
But it's not remix, it's just quantized. That's the version I play. I'm not going to pull that off of Spotify, or I'm not going to pull it off anything else. I own it. You see where I'm going with this?
Oh, yeah.
But that's me. And some people may not care. It may not matter to them, but to me, it matters. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it makes a difference in my sets. So, yeah, I'm not feeling this whole notion right now. I'm just not there. And it's not because I'm not open to it. It's just because I'm seeing too many fundamental problems with it. And it just seems it's limiting compared to the tools that I have now.
Which kind of takes us into, you mentioned Spotify. Spotify, Apple Music are two of the big players right now that are really pushing to get us to stop buying music, just to subscribe and such. And I've been playing with Apple Music here for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and it's an interesting thing. I mean, if you've never played the Spotify or Apple Music, their service is basically that once you're paying your $10 a month, you get everything in their library at your fingertips. And you can download some songs to a playlist and be able to access them offline if you so choose. But the idea is that when you're online, you can be sitting there and say, hey, Siri, play Mr. Blue Eyes. And in just a second, Siri will have a... Okay, I got to shut up. Siri's still...
Sorry, I couldn't find Mr. Blue Eyes, and in just a second, Siri will have a...
Okay, so anyway, typically Siri would have been playing the song Mr. Blue Eyes. And
Siri's a smart ass.
Siri, Siri didn't know when to stop listening.
Right.
Bad Siri. Okay, there we go. But the idea that basically any song, and we were sitting here the other day, and as long as we could pronounce the name of the song correctly, it was pulling them up and pulling them out quick and easy. And that concept is going to be something that will eventually affect what we do as a DJ in the future.
Maybe.
How?
First of all, I want to address Dave Clevenger's question really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
He asked what a quantized track is. A quantized track is one that has a precise beat. So if you listen to anything that's dance music that's been recorded since probably, I would guess, the mid-'80s, it's precisely on beat. Precise. But when we're talking about bands, specifically bands where they're using live drums, the beat isn't always precise for mixing. It's a little off. So if you try to mix some live rock and roll tracks, it's 4/4 time, but it's still a little off because drummers aren't perfect, and there's some magic in that. But when you're mixing tracks, sometimes you can do this thing called quantizing, where you actually take those beats and you line them up perfect. Mm-hmm. You stretch and compress your bars a little bit here and there. And it's a process. You can do it through Ableton or whatever to make those beats absolutely precise. So I just want to answer that question for him real quick.
Good idea. I was thinking about that when you mentioned that. It's like, we should define it, and I lost track of it.
I apologize for just throwing things out there and not, I assume too much. I'm going to tell you a story. It's about my mom, because it's always about my mom. I talk about my mom. I sound like a real mama's boy, don't I?
You pretty much do, but we weren't going to say that.
I kind of am. My mom is awesome. I love my mom. Well, we've talked about my mom and her Alexa, right? Her Amazon Alexa.
Yes. Yep. We mentioned that.
We've talked about my mother's love of Maroon 5, right?
Did we mention that on the show? I don't know if we mentioned it
on
the show.
But my mom is
go ahead.
That shit about Maroon 5. She thinks Maroon 5 is awesome. Okay? Mm-hmm. So she says to Alexa, play some Maroon 5. So Alexa plays some Maroon 5. And my mother and this is just mom. Mom has a really hard time with 4-letter words. Like, if I let one slip, she'll say, "Oh, don't say that." Oh, like I've just put little daggers in her heart because I said shit,
Mm-hmm.
So I have to back it off. Well, when she asked Alexa to play Maroon 5 songs, apparently they're playing the unedited versions
Yes.
of those songs. So my mother is like, well, I really liked the song until I heard those words in the song, and now I don't think I like it anymore because that's not the version I heard on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering if some of these streaming services could be problematic in that area for some of us.
I think you're definitely right, and that was one of the points I wanted to talk about with the services is that I go and play the top 40, the pop, because we've got problems coming up. I just want to kind of get freshen up on listening to the music, and I'm hearing the non-edited versions.
Right.
So then you go and you set the parameters to exclude explicit songs, and now I'm not hearing those songs. I'm not hearing any profanity, but I'm not hearing even a clean version of the song. They're just gone. It's like, oh, well, how beneficial for me as a DJ is that? So this becomes a huge issue, is that now I had Apple Music or Apple at one time where you could go and I need to buy a song. Great, I can see that here's an explicit version. Oh, this one says it's clean. I could buy the clean version. Now, if I'm at a show and I need a song, and if I'm having to use Apple Music to will I be able to make sure I have the clean version?
Right.
Because now I might, this week, this looks like the clean one. Next week, I might just click and grab the wrong one because it's not one I've downloaded because I can't download them anymore. And
I'll say two things. The responsible thing to do is always to preview your track regardless. It's just the responsible thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, you might have a corrupt track.
It's really good, yeah.
So like, you have a client, and it's not your fault, and everyone makes mistakes. Apple does sometimes make mistakes, believe it or not. But that mistake shouldn't be your problem in the middle of your wedding reception with an important request. So if there's, I don't know, digital skipping or noise or in the middle of a song, it's like, you should know this by previewing your track. And if there's a problem, you can get it from another source or whatever the case might be. That was the one thing I wanted to say. Now, the other thing I wanted to say, I cannot remember for the life of me. So just ignore that. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I remember. We are such the minority out there as far as DJs goes when it comes to, who's going to be using these products.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the legality is of using these products sometimes. I don't know. But at any rate, they're not building them for us.
Oh,
they're building them for consumers because that's the market.
And they're after the teenage market because the kids, my children, they on the headphones and they're listening to the newest songs and they know, as all the teenagers pretty much do, every curse word that's from beginning to end. And that's, we were like that too when we were, and if there wasn't any profanity, we took a song and we added it. That's just.
Oh, we did a lot of that.
Yeah. We had, we changed the Achy Breaky Heart to Captain Crunch, and the FN Captain Crunch was the name of the song.
New.
It was pretty good. We did a bad video about when we were drinking one night and did a karaoke thing.
We've talked about this before, making up words behind the booth to songs you're just tired of playing. And like Celebration became Masturbation, and you just sing it at the top of your lungs. Nobody else could hear you.
Oh, and they're like, "Oh, look at he's having so much fun. He's singing along to the song."
Masturbate,
and it's like,
just to tolerate it. There were several like that we would, when you're working with a partner, you just try to come up with the crudest versions of the songs, parodies, that you can, and it's something to laugh about and have fun about while everybody else is dancing to the cheesy thing you're just completely sick of hearing.
Mm-hmm.
I miss those days. That was fun stuff.
There were times it was a lot of fun, and there were times where, as I look back, it's like, goodness gracious, it was.
Now I still do it, like Despacito. Everybody is so sick of playing the song, but I love playing it because every time I play it, all I can hear is Beavis doing the Corn Julio voice in my head doing Despacito, and it's funny to me. And I'm just imagining what he's talking about. Despacito need TP for my bunghole. It's funny. And I enjoy it because I'm associating with something really weird and dumb. Totally off topic.
Totally. That would be now when I play it on Saturday, I'll have to.
Miss Cornelio.
Cornelio, yeah.
For my bunghole. I think it's funny. Try it. It makes it better. It makes it much more tolerable. You gotta have fun. Find fun where you can. But no, I really, right now, today, 2018, April, heading into wedding season, I don't see everybody throwing their computers in the garbage.
No.
Don't see it.
Not going to happen.
Jonathan likes to say things. I love the guy. I've known Jonathan for 11 years now, and he likes to say things. And he has ideas, and he doesn't have a filter between the idea and his mouth, and he just says things.
Well, you look at NAMM, though. There were companies at NAMM that were introducing things that they have the ability to stay away from a laptop. You can function without it. So, I mean, I understand where he's going with the idea is that he's seeing the same things that you and I are from, and I guess he doesn't do probably maybe as much mobile things as a lot of us do. So in his particular situation, he can see that being more viable in his future than you and I can see it being viable in our future. I would go.
He's excited about something. He'll be on to something else next week. That's Jonathan.
Yeah, I think he's bike riding right now, isn't he?
Squirrel! That's just Jonathan.
He's got a 1,000-mile bike ride he's going to be doing or something.
I love the guy, but I know him, so I know where this stuff comes from with him.
So getting back to the music now. So the streaming things are coming. We see that coming. How they're going to affect DJs, we do not know. My biggest question is we've got this generation of DJs who are coming up that are going to be utilizing streaming services, finding their music in different ways than what you and I do when we were purchasing it from services. And the music services, none of them are doing gangbusters. I mean, they're functioning, but they're not making the money they were 5 years ago even, or 10 years ago. Where does this leave us as we move forward when the next generation of DJs aren't buying it? The guys are retiring. They're not buying your music anymore. The next ones don't want to go and spend $50 a month or $100 a month on a service. Will these services be able to continue, or are they going to get to the point where we're down to maybe one or two services and that's it that are servicing us with clean music?
Well, the good news is radio will always need it. So the broadcasters need it. If the broadcasters need it, it's available. So we can always buy it. Now, it might not be at the price we're getting it at, but I believe it's going to be, for the foreseeable future, I can't imagine it's not going to be available to us. Again, because we're pretty much getting the same thing the broadcasters were getting. So it's FCC clean. I mean, that's the point.
Yeah.
So as long as that's available, we should be fine.
But there's edits, though, that we purchased through promo only, as an example. Some of their clean edits on their music videos, which is basically the radio edit of the song and the video that went with it, their edit is cleaner than what our local radio station plays.
Yeah.
I mean, numerous times I've found that where I'm listening to it on the radio, it's like, oh my goodness, what they said that much? I'm hearing that, and I don't even hear any of the F.
Yeah, they have the squeaky clean edits.
Yeah.
So you don't have to freak out about playing them anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And ignorance is bliss sometimes. I had no idea they said that on the radio, but they don't say it in my version. So
the number of times I have said that as I've been listening to the music out here as we're working with the prom shows and getting those ready to go for this weekend. And Lori's like, what are you listening to? It's like, this is the music, but the version that you and I have played, this isn't it. This is wherever it's coming from, Spotify or Apple Music. And
Right. Not my problem. I am so done being the moral cop on it. I just do my best. I play what I like. And quite frankly, I thought that innuendo was always cool. And it was funny because some people didn't get it, in music. When you listen to songs. I've told the story of my mother with Push in the Bush. She had no idea what was going on, but I knew exactly what they were singing. I was 7 years old and I knew. She was 37 and had no clue. And that's funny, To me, that is hilarious. Completely safe to play on the radio because they don't get it either. Or it got past censors or whatever the case might be. But just to throw 4-letter words out there to be provocative, I always just thought was lazy, it's just like a cheap joke. You know, it's not really funny. It's only funny because you're swearing in it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I would agree. That seems.
But that's me. You know, but really, I feel that, and when I'm playing to an audience, it's cool that I can play music that doesn't have provocative words in it, yet I'm still getting a positive response from it. Opposed to I'm only getting a positive response from it because they're saying provocative words. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I get you that. Again, because of the kids, there's some songs that, the only reason they're requesting it is because they can sing about, they can swear along, hit the swear, and then they can sing along about, you get low. How many?
Nothing new.
Yeah.
How'd you meet your mother? She was in a club singing about balls.
Yeah, she was sweat dripping off something, and then the next thing you know, hey, I can show you sweat, and then it was just this thing,
Oh yeah, good old Chris Rock.
Yeah, so much. There's so many. William mentions "Cake by the Ocean" was one that was requested at a church event not too terribly long ago, this fall, I guess, when I was doing that church event. Can you play that song? It's a great song, and it's really got this great upbeat. And it's like, I could, but let me tell you what "Cake by the Ocean" is meaning.
Okay, John, I'm gonna just go on a limb here, and I'm gonna make a confession.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what "Cake by the Ocean" means.
Having sex on the beach. Yeah, that's basically the urban.
I'm good with that because it's innuendo, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
I feel
for
like
sure.
I'm pretty cool, so I would play it at a church. Who cares?
Yeah, and
I'll
most
follow
of
up with "Pushing the Bush" by music. I don't care. I know what it means. My mom doesn't, so it's okay.
So you'd be good, yeah, as long as mom's one in charge of the.
I like See, now I like the song better.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. I thought it was some hipster bullshit. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, no, it's referring to having, and that's why the song from Flow Rida is he came for the cake.
Oh.
Yeah, he's there.
Well, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's the only reason he came to the party is because he came for the cake.
Why else would you go to a party?
For the cake, I guess.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I guess maybe I wasn't looking at things properly.
But see now you're thinking dirty now. Maybe you're reading too much into it, or maybe you're just too cool and you know what it means. See, I didn't know what that meant. Are you like a youth pastor or something? And you know what that means, and I have no idea. What's wrong with this picture?
I used to be that. So
dirty mind.
Well, you had to know, and
I didn't know. No idea. But how cool is that? Yeah, I like innuendo. I'm totally down with innuendo.
And there definitely is a little bit of that.
But when you just get lazy and just say "F you" in a song, I don't like that.
That was as I was listening the other day, that was my thought, is that, these guys are writing these songs, and how lazy can it be when every other sentence has an FU in it, or F this or F that. It's like, even I could write that. Oh yeah, well, we could just.
Now Jimmy's throwing out conspiracy theories about the safety dance. No, Jimmy, that is an urban myth. So I have to just set the record straight, because Jimmy Know-It-All De Palma seems to think that the safety dance has something to do with the gay community having sex with condoms, because that was like some stupid thing somebody said. Not at all.
Yeah.
What the safety dance is about. What the safety dance is about is the guys from Men Without Hats went to a punk rock club, and they were all slam dancing, and somebody came over with a microphone and said, "Okay, we need to safely dance. Please, we need to safely dance." And that's hilarious. Let's call it the safety dance. And they wrote a song about it.
About the safety dance.
It's innocent, Jimmy. You got a dirty ass mind.
Naughty Jimmy. That's why we almost didn't play your intro.
That's right.
Just want to get that out there. See, that'd be an interesting.
Opposed to dangerous dancing, you have safety dancing.
That's true.
Yeah, and if you listen to the words of the song, it totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
because they talk about that.
And I've listened to it a few times, wondering if there was some sort of weird innuendo on that, and it just really doesn't seem.
You're trying too hard,
yeah,
man.
there really isn't. I mean, there's some, but not that hard.
Yeah, way too hard.
Because then I start listening to, I listen to some Queen music, and where some of the things in some of the music there, and it's wondering if there's actually more meaning to what he's talking about.
What song? I'll help you out. Because there is in that stuff.
Bohemian Rhapsody, where he's talking about that, a mama, he put a gun against his head and pulled his trigger, and now he's...
I think that's pretty straightforward.
Is it an actual there, or was it something... Because one of the nights in the bar, the drunk guys were debating it, and one guy thought it was a different meaning behind it, or if it was just a true conspiracy. Yeah, they were really...
You know, the one that is funny though, and I don't know if I've talked about everything. I like a broken record. I have no more material for you. It's just regurgitated crap. But maybe it's been a long time since I've mentioned it. But when I would, I got some friends. Let's just say that they are not urban people.
Mm-hmm.
They are rural people, perhaps.
Okay.
Hunters, conservative, kind of flannel shirt wearing, drink a lot of beer. I'm going to challenge you to a fight because kind of guys,
mm-hmm.
right? So when you have friends like this, you end up in bars with them once in a while. And so we go out to these little redneck bars, to put it mildly, is what they are. And the songs that these rednecks are just playing on the jukebox and getting passionate about singing are hilarious. Like Killer Queen by Queen,
mm-hmm.
which is a song about would they be transgender? Perhaps. At least a cross-dresser. They have no idea what the song is about. They don't care, but they sing it with such passion.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny to me. The other one is Lola by the Kinks. Oh, they love that song, but they have no idea what it's about. And to me, that's funny, considering the source. I thought it was funny.
It is. Sometimes but people aren't aware and are going to have their own little thing, and they all know the lyrics, so they can sing along and have a good time. That's what it's all about. I was just scanning the lyrics and seeing if there's anything that just stood out as a super red flag for a that type. No,
trying too hard.
Yeah, it's just
trying. And if there's an innuendo in there that you don't understand, cool. It's bliss.
Yep.
You know, it's just all very funny to me.
I think Scott mentioned meaning the rodeo song, not the rodeo song. There we go. Rodeo.
The
song.
rodeo song.
Yeah, rodeo song.
Rodeo. Oh yeah, that's that place in Beverly Hills.
Yeah,
Rodeo. There's also a city called Rodeo, California. It's wonderful there. Now the rodeo song, yeah,
that's what he's referring to.
Every song they play on the jukebox.
Haven't heard that one in a while.
The rodeo song, you don't know it?
I know it, but I just haven't because they were whatever in their car and they're off to the rodeo and
40 below here in the truck.
Yeah.
There was another one, and I don't know the name. I think it was called the I95 Song. And it was like a slower country song. And it was this guy who was talking about he was driving down I-90 something or other, and some guy ran him off the road, and he wrote a song about him, and it was like the slow kind of dun 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 kind of country song, and it was like, "Where are you born, an asshole?" It just goes on and on about, or did you work at it your whole life? And the asshole song is what I always called it, but it's got another name to it. I don't remember. You probably know it, John.
It doesn't sound familiar.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm right. The I-95 song. Scott knows what I'm talking about.
I don't think I've ever.
You'll have to YouTube the I-95 song.
I can do better than this. Hey Siri, play the I-95 song.
Here's I95 by AQ.
We hit the button. From AQ. Parental advisory, explicit content.
I don't know if that's the right one. But... no,
Nope.
that's not the one.
Okay, then. So that's
Siri can't help you. You're gonna have to YouTube this.
and it had a.
That's why we can't stream shit when we gig, because
Siri's gonna play rap when we want to be playing country.
yeah. See, people in the room know the I95 song.
Okay, so now I'm gonna try to find it on.
Paul says he knows the guy who did the rodeo song. It's kind of like knowing Elmo and Patsy, who did Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Yep, there it is. The Good Brothers did it.
Okay, the Good Brothers?
The Good Brothers, and it is the asshole song. But it has it all, and it's the I-95 song.
Right. This just seems like something you should know.
I don't. I'm just surprised.
I'm giving you material to go back and play Redneck Bars in your neck of the woods.
I didn't.
They'll think you're maybe they've never heard it either. And you'll be like this guy bringing this holy grail of asshole song.
I will know it. I mean, this is part of this world where they were into the Gompies and whoever else did the Alice song.
Yeah, well, they'll like that. That's the kind of stuff that used to be on jukeboxes and bars around here.
There was a reason why when I would go and because Smokey.
By the way, I was 12 when I started going to bars because I live in Wisconsin and that's what you do.
There wasn't anything else to do.
I'm not kidding. I was 12. My neighbors, they owned a bar. That's what they had, was a bar, and we would go there. Like after school, we'd go to the bar. We'd play pool. We'd play the asshole song on the jukebox. That's what we did. We'd drink a lot of free soda, have a pizza.
And I think
welcome to Wisconsin.
The song that they did around here was "Living Next Door to Alice." Was their version of that, where they could play that and sing along to it as loud as they can. Yeah.
So
Jimmy had his
no different one. Oh Jesus Christ, John.
So Jimmy, share with the class.
Yeah. So I'm writing an article for Dushaky News as we speak. It's actually on my desktop. I'm almost done with it. And it's about helping somebody. Specifically, actually, I'm talking about fellow DJs, but it could be anybody. I think it's important that we try to help instead of hate. I see a lot of hate out there on social media, and I'd like to see more help.
Isn't that the truth?
What do you think of that, John?
After spending the morning back and forth with somebody posted something asking about karaoke and adding it to their company. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to just take a minute and basically say, hey, make sure you have a plan. Just don't go and invest. Make sure you have a way of making money with this and have an idea of how to do it. And actually put together, which I thought was a couple of quick points that they should be thinking about. And then some guy goes and rips me, basically telling people that my advice is completely, and I'm a stupid shit and whatever else he was going to go on and such. And it's like, why? I'm trying to help. I didn't say that it wasn't possible to make a karaoke addition to your company. I didn't say that. I didn't say anything that it wasn't, they couldn't, but I asked them to think about it and make sure that they had a plan, not just jumping into it because, as we both know, as people will tell you, oh my gosh, Brian, you're an incredible painter. You should become a house painter and you'd make millions doing house painting. Go and invest in all the gear you need to. People will do this to you. And they're good-meaning people. So you have to think about it and be realistic. And that's all I was asking the person. But then this guy just went total ballistic for a while on me. And it's like, why? You're just trying to help someone.
I know. See, I actually wrote about this. And, sometimes I think that we have the absolute best intent in helping someone. And we believe that we are offering constructive criticism, which is what you're talking about, opposed to just negative criticism. You believe you're offering constructive criticism, but the scary part about it is we're like living in this world of cold text, and people read what they read into what they want to see.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do a video where I'm saying things and you can see the expression on my face and I'm talking, and people still only hear the parts they want to hear and ignore the parts that they don't.
Yeah.
And they'll blast me for things. So what I try to do and make an effort to do, especially when I'm typing, is I try to do these fail safes of things that I learned in management. For example, I try to do 2 positives for every negative. So the example that I'm giving in my article that I'm writing is you could look at a photograph that someone's posted of their mobile setup, and you could see that they're using orange extension cables and they look like a coiled snake going toward the wall. Everything else, looks pretty nice, but that looks like hell. I'll see 20 comments of cable management, dude, or whatever.
Yeah.
In the abstract, it's constructive, but in the context of how they're typing it, it can be perceived as negative.
Jimmy.
So what I feel we need to do is go in and say, hey, I like your setup. I see you put a lot of effort into it, and I like what you're doing with your lights here. Have you considered some cable management options? It can really do a lot to clean up your setup. Here's a YouTube video that I found on some cable management methods that you might find helpful. Great picture. Thanks for sharing. And I know that might sound really gushy to some people. I know that might sound like a lot more effort than a lot of people want to put into leaving a simple comment on a post. But let me get heavy for a minute, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
I buried a friend today. Mike Guy, he died a week ago. Tomorrow, it'll be a week ago tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right, Wednesday. Oh.
Yeah, I saw him a
Tuesday.
week ago today. I spent 3 hours with him, laughing, cutting up, talking. But yeah, I spent the whole day at the funeral, the visitation funeral, the after party, as Mike called it. He wanted an after party, so we had an after party. I thought about my relationship with Mike a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Today.
Sure.
And the one thing with Mike and I that a lot of people don't know, even people who know Mike and I, we didn't have the same beliefs on a lot of things, like politics or social things or whatever. But we had some things in common. Like we both have a 20-year-old daughter right now. I mean, our daughters are both born the same year. Both DJs, and both people who really want to help one another. In fact, Mike and I had a relationship based on helping one another. We didn't go to each other's kids' birthday parties. We didn't do that. But in a pinch, Mike knew he could call me. Oh, Brian, I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I got this problem, be it DJ related or personal, and I would be there. On the flip side, same thing. Mike, I'm in a bind. I don't know what to do. Mike could be there. We had a relationship based on helping one another. So what I'm talking about right now, and my wish to honor my friend is to help somebody. Just this month, this week, today, whatever, help somebody. Make an effort to help somebody. Yeah. So it's going to take you a little longer to type something like that out than it would be to just point out that the cables are messy. But the effectiveness of taking a little longer to do this, I believe, makes all the difference in the world. And you could really make somebody's day and actually help them.
Oh, yeah.
Opposed to, even if you mean well, and that's my point. I'm not suggesting that people are always trying to be negative, but what they're saying is perceived as negative because of the delivery. So take a little time and make sure what you're saying couldn't be interpreted with any kind of negative context attached to it or perceived context attached to it, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
off my soapbox. Let me have a drink of my coffee.
And that whole idea of helping, taking a little extra time, I think is something a lot of the people who are in the chat room and such, I believe I've seen most all of them at some point in time be that person to reach out and try to help. It's just incredibly frustrating that, okay, so we have person A who has a question, and then we take the time to, okay, I'm going to do something. I'm not going to give them a one-sentence answer. I'm going to type something up. I'm going to take 15 minutes out of my day to put together a cognitive thought that's going to be beneficial to them. And then you have some jerk that comes out of left field and starts dissing or beating you up for basically trying to help someone.
Happens to me daily.
I
did a video yesterday morning called Funky Moving Heads. I thought it was cool because I was programming a light for Scott Smoke and Sills from Hot Mix 5. He came to my house. We programmed his light show. And I had his heads moving. They were a little different. And he's like, why do you have the heads moving like that? They're kind of slow. And I put on like the funkiest disco song that I had. And I'm like, now watch him. And they're like moving to bars. We were talking about this last week.
We have last week.
Like 4 bar movements instead of dun, 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 dun. They were dun, 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 dun. And it was neat. I did a video about this. I got 5 dislikes. Now, granted, I got 61 likes. I haven't seen it since this morning because I've been busy all day. But 5 people really didn't like that video for some reason. I don't know what they didn't like about it, but they're not telling me what they didn't like about it. So it's not constructive criticism. It's just a nasty gesture that took no time to do and they have no consequence for making. That's human nature. Unfortunately, on social media, it's really easy to be an asshole on social media. And some people enjoy being an asshole. Maybe they're the nicest person in the world in real life, and they've got this alter ego that's an asshole. Why? I don't know, because that's just what turns them on, I guess.
Yeah.
But I deal with it every day. The key to this, John, I really believe this, after getting this kind of feedback from the minority. Granted, the minority. This is not the majority of people disliking my video. I didn't have 5 likes and 62 dislikes on the video. If I did, there would be a problem.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. I had 62 likes and 5 dislikes. I got more love than hate. I cannot let that 1 or 2 or 5 negative people completely throw off the positive 62 that took the time to click like on that video. Because that's not fair. The squeaky wheel doesn't deserve the grease. The goddamn thing should fall off and fly into the ditch. Because I don't got time for that.
Precisely.
And that's what I got to say about that, damn it. That's just what it is.
So
I think John, and yeah, just to wrap, I think we just put way too much energy into the negative.
By far. So when you people see us basically saying, and now they're in the ditch, you'll know that they were the squeaky ass wheel and we're done with them.
We let it fly off.
We let them fly off into the ditch.
It was a 5th wheel anyway.
Yeah, we didn't need that anyway.
We had 62 good ones. We didn't need
those last 5.
We let it fly off and burn up and fly into the ditch. Just the bearings are fried and it's junk. I can't save it.
So this weekend, looking ahead, this is going to be a big prom weekend for us. We've got 2 of our area proms, and we're going to be doing in both proms. We're going to be controlling everything with our fun little iPads and the DMX bridges. We're having both proms have got uplighting around the room. One prom has the 5 Ps. It has 24 5P hexes around the room, and then it has 8 of the Z4s that'll be doing some scanning and such around the room. And then we have we have 6 of the 6 of a 100-watt LED moving head. So we've got a variety of different things that we'll be doing with that show. And then the show that I'm going to be doing is going to have, I want to say, 40 uplights around the room.
Wow.
And it's going to be like the mega flat pars that's going to be there, and then moving head, mega flat moving head, and all the way around the room. So programming
got
this.
some stuff cooking.
Yeah, we've got some stuff cooking, and it's going to be kind of a big weekend. I'll be doing one, and Lori is going to be doing the other one. As she's going to be kind of the personality, we'll call it for lack of better, maybe the MC if they need such a thing, which they really won't.
Right.
Michael, my 15-year-old, is going to be the actual DJ.
I was wondering if that was going to come. Yeah.
Yep, he's been practicing and knows the music better than she, but you get him 3 years or 4 years back. He just doesn't have that music knowledge. And of course, that's where she was doing high school dances up until about 2 or 3 years ago. So the combination of the two should work pretty well. So it'll be an interesting. We start set up tomorrow. Tomorrow night we'll be setting up the first show. And the way we're going to be doing that is they do the marching around the gym. So we're going to have some motion. We're going to set up scenes on the controllers. So when they come in, hit the one scene, and the moving heads move to the arch where they walk in. Then they walk down, and they've got to move. They've got a follow spot that they're going to use. Then they're going to get to the second point. We hit a scene, and the lights on that side of the room will go there. And then when they leave, then we shut that scene off, and the lights will go back up and drift up to the ceiling. They get over to spot number 3. We hit another scene, and all the lights will come on that side of the room and hit them. So
now, what are you using for a controller for this?
All of it's going to be done with the iPad and the Airstream DMX.
Sweet.
All of it done
Isn't
with
that just the coolest piece of gear?
It is cool, but the biggest problem I'm concerned about is Michael and I did his very first school dance we did at that school, not in that gymnasium, but we had problems because we are using you can use one of 11 Wi-Fi channels with the DMX bridge. And we were on the same one as one of their routers over there. So we were losing signal. So if I was using a scene in which was utilizing a macro, built-in macro to the light fixtures, it would chase and do its own thing. It would. But if you had a scene that was, say, if it was a situation where I had sketched the pattern or the way I wanted the moving head to move, maybe I wanted the moving head to move up and over and down and back, whatever I did.
Yeah.
That means that this has to be sending information to the lights consistently, and once that connection was interrupted, the light would be like, eek. Just sits there. It's like, So it was very frustrating, and we were trying to figure out, and I was trying to see if I could find out what channels were being used.
That's what I was wondering, yeah. Isn't that something you just contact the IT person at the school for and say, hey, look, we need to know? Well,
for this particular, my junior son works with the IT people there a lot, and he's networking and yada-da-da-da. So Brandon has checked into that, and he'll be there after school tomorrow, and we will find out which channels are going to be open.
Excellent.
So we'll be okay for that, but this is definitely a potential issue when you're going to a different school that you've never been to, is that will there be interference? I've not had this before. I think I've probably used this at 20 different events. Never had a problem until that one particular night. So
sure. And you're talking about how many fixtures per event?
I generally am running with most of my about 16 fixtures, but the amount of fixtures didn't matter. It was
no, I'm just thinking about you go in early, you do a test, and if you have interference, excuse me, you switch Wi-Fi channels.
Well, and we didn't.
Then you've got 16 fixtures you've got to switch them on.
Well, no, they're all fine because it's sending that DMX signal. I don't have one here, but it was only the communication between the iPad and the DMX bridge itself. So that was all. Yeah. And it was, so that was and when we set up and we did our first, about a half an hour, the lights ran for a half an hour before the dance started, because I was showing the guys some things, and then I changed a couple of programs. No problems whatsoever. But once we had kids coming in, and I don't know if once the kids came in and if they were utilizing a modem that
school Wi-Fi network.
Yeah, a network that wasn't utilized before. I don't know, and this is something that tomorrow Brandon and I will dig into, and hopefully when we're done with this, we'll have an answer that we can share with everybody in the class.
What do we got? 1 through 14 on the Wi-Fi signal?
1 through 11, I want to say, but it could be more than that. And I think if I remember talking to Ben Stowe, as he had mentioned that there are some bands that are, or some channels of those 11 channels that are more utilized for some things over others. So it might be that.
Find out what those are.
This is all going to be part of that discussion.
Let's find out what the Yeah, because there's gonna be for one reason or another, there's gonna be a channel that nobody uses for something.
I would think so. Yeah, there should be.
Well, let's use that. Let's
Paul
all
mentioned-
use that.
Paul mentions a net a Wi-Fi analyzer. I ended up buying 2 of them that night because I was just desperately trying to find something that was open. And my plan was if I could find something, I couldn't. The iPad has to switch. You have to be connected to it so the iPad can switch the channel on the DMX bridge. So my thought was that if I could find an app that would tell me what was open, I was going to unplug everything, take it out to the car because my car has a 110 volt outlet. Plug it in a car out in a parking lot far enough away from the school so I wasn't going to have an interference, switch the things, run it back in, and during that time, hopefully a couple of the lights, I'd unplug them, take out the DMX, plug them back in, and let them just go in, demo mode while I'm doing this. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything. The Wi-Fi analyzers that I had weren't showing me which channels. So tomorrow, again, that's going to be part of that setup process. Is Brandon is going to work on that.
Paul already was saying that there's an Android tablet and Wi-Fi scan app that you can use to find what channels are used.
Yeah, and I have.
And you have that.
I had 2 of them. I have Net Analyzer and Wi-Fi Analyzer.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, some of the things they will show you is pretty impressive. And we'll see. We'll dig into that more tomorrow and hopefully figure it out. But so it's going to be a big weekend, and I should have a lot of things to report next week, hopefully. And I'm hoping for positives because we've got the new iPad photo booths are going to be running. The larger light shows are going to be running for the first time. My 15-year-old is going to be doing the DJ for a prom for his first time.
Yes, I want a full report.
So it'll be interesting to see how this all comes together, and then of course my junior Brandon, who's helping with the prom in Uppsala, he's going to his prom with his date. So, and Dad's the DJ. So how fun can that be when your old man's the DJ?
yeah. That's got to be interesting.
So we'll have all sorts of things to dig into for next week. So cool. Goodness, we're up to 10 o'clock.
Look at that.
Well, actually, next week you're going to be in Midwest.
I am. I'm going to be in Midwest.
Yeah.
Will I be there under Disc Jockey News?
Well, you can.
Okay, I'd like to be there.
Yeah, I was going to say you probably will be because I'm not. I can't make it.
Well, somebody's got to put that pass in there.
They
pretend they don't know me when I go there. Who are you? I don't know. Oh, do you have a pass?
Brian who?
What? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, they've got you taken care of with that. Not a problem. So.
Excellent. Yeah, I've actually I'm holding some product here for Midwest.
No, nice.
I haven't told anybody, but Admix, who is a Reba case, I have their product.
Oh, some of the new bags.
Midwest. They're going to be debuting Admix.
Oh, very nice.
At Midwest. So Jennifer Davies is coming in for that.
Oh, wow.
Pretty excited. The new person or a new company that's going to be displaying there.
Very nice.
It's nice stuff. If you haven't seen it, you probably saw it at NAMM.
I did see it at NAMM, and I was very, very impressed. Not worlds different than the Eureba, because Eureba made a nice bag, no question about it. But they've just taken it up a notch with better padded
now.
Some of the Eureba bags I've got are padded also. But I mean, it's like a thicker padding that they've used.
This is like cooler. It feels like a cooler. It's really thick.
It really is. I mean, it was a nice, and the zippers, they kind of upgraded the zippers just a little bit, and again, it's like a step up in the lines.
It's just it's a new line for them. They're pretty proud of it. It's a little more premium, and I haven't looked at it yet. It's a box under the tree. I know it's a record, but I don't know what record it is. Well, I haven't unwrapped it yet.
You have to.
I don't know if I'm getting John Cougar's American Fool, or if I'm getting the K-Tel album I saw on TV, or if I'm getting Juice Newton. I don't know what it is.
You probably Juice
But
Newton.
it's there. It's right there. It's under the tree. So I know it's Admix, but I don't know what bags that are there. They're not mine anyway. They're for Midwest. But
get another copy of Juice Newton. You've already got 4 copies of Juice Newton. Come on, man.
What was that album called?
I don't know.
Come on.
It had
the singles were
Queen of Hearts.
Angel in the Morning, Love's Been a Little Bit Hard on Me, and Queen of Hearts.
Yeah.
What was the album called?
Yeah.
wasn't self-titled. It had a name.
Yes, I don't remember right off the top. Oh, now you're gonna make me.
Oh, and you know that country. That was the kind of crap they played in Upper Minnesota.
Lori was the one who knew that. I think it was that the Quiet Lies album? That was.
It doesn't even sound right.
God, I remember seeing that one. Well, then I need to do this. This is the important things we discuss, usually off the air, but now you guys get to be part of this.
But now you guys get to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Juice.
Let it go a little longer so you can see the kind of goofy banter we get involved with.
Juice was the album.
Oh, is it called Juice?
Yeah, Juice is what they say. Queen of Angel in the Morning came off that, but it looks very much. It looks very much like the other album.
And Love's
cover.
Been a Little Bit Hard on Me. It was all on the same album.
Yeah, it was
a big album.
And then she came out with the greatest hits. A few years later,
which was the same album.
Yeah, there was
those were her greatest hits.
Oh, and another one, the sweetest thing I've ever known was
that ever knew was Loving You. Yeah, was that on that album?
That was on that one too.
So yeah, 4. That's 4, right? Or 5?
Well, yeah,
the big album. Juice Noon.
1.
What do you know about Juice Noon? You don't know nothing about Juice Noon, chat room.
Yeah, and my experience with that is hearing the neighbor with the country music and that little blaring horn. Once in a while, you'd hear it there. And then when Lori and I started dating, and we were doing the DJ and the karaoke thing at that time, that was one of the songs that she sang. She could sing very, very well.
Well, for me, my first job I ever had, like ever. When we moved to Wisconsin, my parents thought it would be a great idea to put me out in the subdivision 5 miles away from the nearest gas station. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, because it was a really bad idea. It didn't work out very well, but that's what they did. And at the end of the road, there was a horse farm, and I got a job at a horse farm. Horse, stables.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I hate horses now.
I can imagine.
I can't stand them. I just they can all die. I don't care. I hate them. But they had this radio in the barn. You could plug it in or unplug it. And you couldn't turn the station, or they get really mad at you. It was on the country station, so you turn on the lights and the radio would come on.
Yep.
And back then, it was when all the crossover tracks were happening. So you get really excited in the summer of 1984. We're talking. You'd hear a crossover track that you could deal with once in a while. Like maybe every 2 hours, you'd hear Lionel Richie's "Stuck on You." Ooh, I know that one.
Yeah.
And it's not, Joe Bob, Billy Williams Jr. or whoever. And then you'd hear a Juice Newton track, or you'd hear just, or maybe a familiar Dolly Parton track or something that was crossover. Maybe a Cliff Richard track. Ooh, Cliff Richard. I like Cliff Richard. But it was like a treat you get once in a while between all the really sad kind of
depressing. My truck died and my dog bit my car and wheels on blocks.
It's like the music of low expectations.
What are you going to be when you grow up? I don't know. Maybe
I live in a trailer and
I'm
happy.
My mullet might get waxed once in a while. I don't know.
I just, it's like the lowest expectation music you'd ever want to hear in your life. The simple life. I love the simple. Oh, you can have the simple life. Enjoy it.
Those standards.
Please move very far away from where I live and have that simple life. I'm sorry.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, Kenny Rogers. Yeah, you hear the Kenny Rogers song once in a while. It's really cool. That's not a chat. Well, you should put a fork in this thing, because these people are going to get annoyed with us soon if we just keep doing it.
Yeah, we're going to wrap things up. So I'm not sure if we can get together next Tuesday night. We might push to Wednesday instead. Ryan and I'll talk about it, and we'll see what his schedule looks like for next week. And we'll, because we need to do our recap from Midwest DJs Live. We got to talk about
come on
Tuesday.
Thursday. No reason I can't.
Yeah, we'll see. If you have it, we'll make sure it works out and such. So
we'll make it happen.
I
live awesome. I'm like 5-10 minutes from the venue.
Yeah, so I would think you'd be back because everything's done and such. So
yeah, I don't worry about it. I'll be here.
Okay, well that'll be the plan. So we will catch you next Tuesday. Of course, tomorrow the shows. You guys go check them out. They're out on DJNTV. Good night, everybody.
Tonight's DJNTV show is sponsored in part by Electro Voice, DJ Event Planner, ADJ, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, Newmark, and DJNTV Insiders.